picked up practice test A. And just like we always do when we start practice test A, let's get some information to us at the top. Right now our test date is scheduled for Wednesday, April 2nd. Wednesday, April 2nd. If you are doing extra credit vocab, that would be sections 6.4, 6.5, 6.6, I'm trying to think if we did 6, 7. I think we did. We did. I think we did all of them, right? 6.5. Oh, 6.4. I'm sorry, was on the previous test. Let me scratch that part out. 6.5, 6.6, 6.7, and 6.8. All right. Write myself a note that you guys are 4th hour. So let's see what we have in store for us. Page 1 looks like some trig functions and inverse trig functions. Page 2. A little bit of trig equations and inequalities. This is kind of some of our more recent units. And then some distributed practice. We have a proof. We have some rational. Looks like we have some logic on there too. So let's start up there with our first problem, tangent 195. We know 195 is not on our unit circle. What can I break 195 degrees into so it's two things that we know? 150 and 45. So if I'm working on the tangent of 150 plus 45 degrees, I'm going to apply one of those tangent formulas that's around the room. It looks like a sum of an angle. We're using tangent, so it looks like that bottom formula in the first column. That tells us in the numerator, tangent of each angle added together. So tangent 150 plus tangent 45. Doesn't matter which order we have 45 and 150, we'll end up with the correct answer either way. And then in the denominator, our formula tells us 1 minus the product of the two tangents, 150 times tangent 45. And now I'm ready to start finding some values that I may or may not know. 150 degrees, I'm going to draw just a quick sketch here. You've seen me do this a million times. 150 is up in quadrant 2 as part of the 30-degree family. So tangent at 30 degrees, here's my 30-degree angle. Tangent, I flip it over, and I'd have a square root of fingers over square root fingers. So square root 1 over square root 3. Will tangent be positive or negative in quadrant 2? Negative. We have negative 1 over square root 3. Before I even put this value into my equation, I have a radical in the denominator. Let's rationalize. I need to multiply the numerator and denominator by square root 3. What I end up with is a negative square root 3 over 3. So I found my tangent value. Let's go ahead and plug in our values as we know them. So tangent 150 in the numerator, we just found was negative square root 3 over 3. I'm adding the tangent of 45. Tangent of 45, square root 2 over square root 2. Yeah, our tangent at 45 is just 1. And in our denominator, we have 1 minus tangent 150, negative square root 3 over 3 again, and tangent 45, 1 again. From this point forward, our PDM steps are finished. We're just using our algebra that we know now to simplify this and get it into a single point. In the numerator, I'm adding a fraction to a non-fraction. I'm going to think about this 1 as being 3 over 3. So I have negative square root 3 plus 3 all over 3. In the denominator, I'll have a 1 plus root 3 over 3. I'm going to also convert this denominator to a single fraction. All right, so I'm going to think of that as 3 plus square root 3 all over 3. And now that I have a fraction and a fraction, our important information from our last couple chapters comes into play. We need to flip over and multiply. Negative root 3 plus 3 over 3 times the reciprocal of the denominator, 3 over 3 plus square root 3. The 3's in the numerator and denominator will cancel out, just the ones by themselves there. And I'm left with negative root 3 plus 3 over 3 plus square root 3. Let me stop there and make sure that I've got everyone with me up to this point. Are there any questions that we have thus far? All right. So we've got it to a single fraction. I've got one more big chunk of steps that I have to do. What do I need to do? Awesome. I have to rationalize that denominator. So when we rationalize, we multiply by the conjugate. Remember, that's just the same thing with the opposite operation in between. The 3 is still positive here, but then I have a subtraction of root 3 here. All right, we got a FOIL. Numerator, negative 3 root 3. I have a negative root 3 times a negative root 3. What do I have when I multiply those together?
3.
Awesome, a positive 3. Negative times negative is a positive. Root 3 is 3. When I multiply 3 times 3 here, I get a positive 9. And then this positive 3 times a negative root 3, negative 3 root 3. Denominator. 3 times 3 is 9. I'll have a positive 3 root 3's and a negative 3 root 3. Those two will cancel each other out. So I have a negative and a positive, they cancel. But then when I do positive root 3 times negative root 3, what do I get? Awesome, negative 3. Good. Positive times negative is a negative. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. Let's combine. In my numerator, I see I have 3 plus 9. I'm going to add these two together first. That's 12. Negative root 3, and I'm subtracting 3 more. Negative 6 roots of 3. And in the denominator, 9 minus 3 is 6. Oh man, we are so close.
This is the longest problem I've ever done.
So what do I have yet to do? Sorry about that. What do I have left? Simplify.
It's a long problem.
12 over 6. 6 roots 3 over 6. I always say this, if I'm going to split up a fraction like this, I need to give it some love first. That's where we get that heart-shaped thing going. So 12 divided by 6 is a positive 2. Negative 6 divided by 6 is a negative 1. I end up with 2 minus square root 3. Final answer, all done.